Hello you all. So I promised to keep you updated about my progress in this doll that I am making completely wired. But first of all, let me explain why I'm doing this. On Facebook I have a group and that's called the Waldorf Doll Make-Along, or short MAL. And we do make-alongs every 2 or 3 months. That depends on how large the project is, how much time it will take. So this time there is a make-along going on until the end of October, and it is completely free in whatever method you would like to use, whatever doll you would like to make. The only requirement that I made is that you stuff it with wool, or you felt it with wool, whatever you like, and that you cover it with skin fabric, which may also be an old t-shirt or something you would like to experiment with. So that's what's going on now in that make-along group. The next make-along that starts in the end of October will be about a narrative group. So we have a variety of make-alongs, and sometimes it requires a pattern and sometimes it doesn't. It's it's fun to be there, and it is fun to join. And you can ask any questions you like. So that is about that make-along. So this is my project for that make-along. I wanted to experience a quite difficult method, and that is completely wired and completely felted. So you can imagine that is a whole lot of work, but I am enjoying it. If you want to, let me first say this, if you want to try this yourself but you're scared, or you think, oh well, I can't do this, well, I think you can. First of all, I think you can, but you have to remember that there are no failures. If you think you failed, and that's possible, then you only failed when you didn't learn anything about it. So that's how I developed my skills and my craft, by trial and error. But first of all, learn from my errors and then start over again. Nothing comes easy. If you want to learn a certain craft that isn't your own, that you have to learn from scratch on, it isn't easy. It takes persistence and it takes trial and error. And remember that every failure is a learning process. Okay, so what I did, I made a wire armature, and then I wrapped it with wool. There's nothing underneath this wool, I only used wool. And when I thought I had a little basic sculpture, then I began to make more shape in it. So as you can see, oh, I can turn this, very luxurious. As you can see, she already has a belly, and she already has a butt. It's not completely seeable, but I will take this standard off in a minute. Okay, and you can see that I've sculpted her legs. I gave her knees. I gave her a good sculpture over here. I don't know how you call it, but and the upper legs are sculpted. The feet are sculpted. I made sure that there is a heel underneath the feet. So I only have to do the arms now, because the neck is going to be an inserted technique, so that I will make a doll which has a hole. I will make a head which has a hole, and that will slide over it. So it's completely bendable. This time I would like to make hands. So that's why I kept it empty until now, because I first want to make hands and cover them with, and well, later on you will see why I did that method, and cover them with skin fabric. And first then attach it to the arm. This is a little bit too long, because as you know, the hands should end on somewhere on the hip, not lower, because he is still a child, so somewhere here. So you can see this is too long, but I don't want to cut it off in this stage, because I have to experiment how I'm going to do the hands. I have an idea, of course, as usual, and I'm going to try whether it works. If it doesn't work at all, that's no problem, then I can do a traditional hands. So that's where I'm at. I will take her off her standard now, so you can see a little bit more. I'm a little bit out of camera now, excuse me. Okay, so this is her behind. And you might think, well, that looks great, but how are you going to cover this with the skin fabric? Well, that's a phase that I will show you later. I already tried the little things and I'm sure I will manage. How I'm getting this sculpted butt to be visible is just by, again, like we used to, by pulling a thread between her buttocks. The rest will form itself as it wants to lay against the skin. And in the knee holes, I can make a stitch. I want to keep the feet closed up front, so there will be side seams. So the whole body and the legs will be one piece of fabric with seams on the sides, of course. I will slide it over the legs on top of the shoulders. And the feet are going to be different than my other patterns because the seam is going to lay around it, and I'm going to make sure that this will end up nicely in that part. That's something I will show you too, how I did that or how I'm going to do that. Again, it is a very advanced method. If you never made a doll, then I would recommend to make a doll traditional style first, because you need some instant gratification to be able to go on. I think when you're starting with this, and this takes a lot of skills and a lot of experience. So I think the chance that you're going to be disappointed and won't make dolls anymore is rather big, I think. Okay, so that's what I'm doing for this make along. Pop over to that group. I will place a link in the description box down below. You know, down there is a little arrow, and if you click that open, you will see a description box. In that, there will be the link to this make along Facebook group. You're always very welcome to join us, and maybe I will see you over there. So this was the second stage of this doll, and I will see you in the third stage. Thank you.